What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to give you guys a very quick update about the debt ceiling in NIO. I'm going to make this video very short and just talk about what's going on right now. Before I say anything, let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice. Also, don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit any amount of money, and you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the offer ends in just 3 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so NIO was up 2.12% for the day on Friday. Got a very decent sized balance, but it ended up just seeing this like doji like candlestick on the daily chart. And that typically could be the market reversal from here. Now, I predicted NIO would get a bounce, and we did get our bounce finally. I just want to remind you guys that NIO is not responsible for why it dropped so hard over the last like couple of trading days. NIO didn't do much. I mean, there was a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, but then we had Xbox earnings, which led to more downside for the EV sector for many stocks. I mean, I'm not saying every single stock out there, but for stocks like NIO, for example, which has similar potential outcomes. The market knows that NIO's deliveries were not the strongest, and it is anticipating or a little bit worried about earnings as investors start to sell. That's part of why NIO is in the red. There are other factors too. The market got a really nice bounce, as I did predict, and I said that this could help NIO turn green. I was hoping NIO would get closer to like $8. We came just under that at 7.7, not extremely far from it, but hoping for more though. But now we need to talk about something big that just came out. Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden came out, and they have a new agreement, and this is very huge. I'm going to read some of the things that Kevin McCarthy said because looking at my transcripts, and by the way, guys, I have access to the transcripts, which means that I could see exactly what McCarthy and Biden say. Now, this is available to the public, of course, if you're willing to pay the service fees for like the service that I'm using. But here's the thing. Right now, Biden didn't really say anything, at least when I was like looking. I didn't really see anything from Biden, at least so far today, as of right now. But I am seeing some words from uh, McCarthy. So I'm going to just talk briefly about McCarthy. McCarthy said, and I quote, the debt ceiling deal will raise the limit by 2 years. I expect a vote on the debt limit deal as soon as Wednesday. And then McCarthy said, there is so much in the debt ceiling that is very positive. And he was referring to the deal. Then McCarthy said that more than 95% of the House Republicans are very excited about the debt ceiling deal. And then he said the debt ceiling agreement is a step in the right direction. It includes pay-go restrictions for the U.S. administration. He said we're actually spending less than last year. And I expect a majority of House Republicans to vote for the debt ceiling bill. So in support of it, basically. And then let's see who else is there. That's basically what he said during his speech. McCarthy said, and I will brief the Senate Republicans on the debt ceiling agreement later on Sunday. So very important. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else. Basically just repeats from before, as I mentioned on the channel. So when it came to the balance for NIO, right? One of the things I said was, back on Thursday, I made a prediction that by Friday, we could get the agreement, but I was leaning between Friday and Tuesday, we'd most likely get the agreement. I was very confident it would come between that time period, but I was leaning more in the direction of Friday. So I was hoping that for Friday we could get an agreement. And Friday is here. Friday came, market bounced, but we didn't get the agreement yet. We were very close according to the transcripts. So I was, once again, one day early. Saturday comes, then the agreement came out. So I was one day early, right? The market knew this, though. The market makers knew this, which is why they pumped the markets. And NIO managed to bounce thanks to the markets. So from a technical standpoint, we're still looking weak on the MACD. There's no confirmation of the bounce yet, but there is a potential doji that formed. On the 1 hour time frame, NIO is still trading sideways. Not a whole lot's going on, but we did get a bounce here after we formed a bullish divergence right here. So it is trying to make a bounce now. It was stair-stepping its way down over the last couple of days, and there should be an attempt for it to try to do so. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders, no confirmation of it just yet, unless we start to get a breakout. We do have these imbalances around this 8.15 and also around 8.6, which gives NIO some potential to try to bounce. But I believe it's going to depend heavily on what happens with the entire market. That's going to play a big role. Don't forget, NIO has earnings in just under 2 weeks. And on top of that, NIO has another shareholder meeting coming out by like the end of June. So we have lots of important stuff coming out for NIO. June is going to be a very important month. And we're just a couple of days away from deliveries data. Deliveries are going to be massive for NIO. William Lee Bin, the CEO of NIO, was setting these high expectations, saying that NIO was going to give us 200,000 deliveries for the year. They failed to do so, or at least they failed so far to keep the rate at which they have to meet to make it there, as their deliveries have slowed. But even if they don't reach that goal, as long as they get very good growth and they continue to beat expectations, they're going to be fine, because my expectations are not very high for the next year for NIO or most companies like others out there, because of what I just mentioned about Elon Musk, the points that Elon Musk made, which I am agreeing with, right? It's not just because of Elon Musk, of course, but I meant like I agree with his points, right? If you look at the current state of the economy, the fact that we are in a recessionary environment, unemployment is going to start going up in the US, and demand in China are continuing to like get hurt, right? This is going to be very important for NIO moving forward. Now, yes, there could be some slow growth for the short term for NIO because of this. Some EV companies, such as like Li Auto, are not doing too bad. Same with Tesla in China, just absolutely killing it. But others are not doing as well, like Xpeng and NIO. NIO, for one of the reasons, or one of the things that it's gotten criticized for, would be the high prices. They have not participated much in the price wars or the price cuts, as William Lee Bin put it, and that could affect them for the short term. But for like the more medium term and long term, I'm still very confident in their ability to give us some good numbers. So I'm still very optimistic for the long term for NIO. For the short term, I still think things could become shaky. From a technical standpoint, if the market gets a really nice bounce thanks to this news, because SPY was up pretty nicely, 1.3%, got a nice bounce. QQQ was up about 2.56%, right? Even nicer bounce, right? There's an imbalance here, so be a little bit careful. But for NIO, it's going to depend heavily on what the market does. If the market continues to hold, we could see NIO approach 7.83, followed by $8 flat, getting to this imbalance zone around this 7.86, then $8 level. If not, it's just going to continue to chop between 7.5 and 7.7. So that's what I'm seeing for it. We'll just have to wait and see how it reacts to the debt ceiling. I will give you guys more details tomorrow, hopefully, but that's where I'm leaning right now. I'm going to make another video tomorrow in case we have more updates from Biden, because I didn't get a chance to quote Biden or talk about what the White House transcript is saying. I think that's going to be very important too. I did see Kevin McCarthy's, which is why I talked about him, but I'm still waiting for more data or more speech transcripts from Biden. We're just waiting for him. It could take many, many hours or another day before it comes out, before Biden says, his part. Anyways, it still is good news that came out. This is good for the markets, but the market hasn't really broken like major resistance levels yet. I know SPY is holding 420, closed at 420, but like I said before, we need to break and hold 421, because on the SPX we have 421.16 or so, around that area, which has some heavy resistance. And then, if we break and hold that, 426 could come. QQQ could pump more, but 350 is going to be tough resistance. We'll have to wait and see. If they continue to break out, this could help NIO. If not, it is what it is, right? But for now, just be very, very patient. We have lots of unemployment data coming out for the week. I will talk more about this later, of course. For Tuesday specifically, just housing data. We have the unemployment rate coming out by Thursday or Friday. We have initial jobless claims coming out. We have the JOLTS data for job openings and job quits, and lots of jobs numbers coming out for the week. So this is going to be the jobs week. Then after that, we have soon after, we're going to have NIO's earnings alongside the PPI, the CPI inflationary numbers, and then the FOMC is going to start by the middle of June. And that's going to be important because Papa Powell, Jerome Powell, is going to be speaking. What he says will move the markets, so be very careful. All right, guys, so that's just your quick recap for today. Thank you all for listening. I was not able to make a recap because I was unavailable, but I'm here now. Hopefully, I'm able to record another video, but hopefully this was very helpful for you. And I just wanted to say I really appreciate all of you. NIO in the market to the moon as the long term is very, very bright. And peace out.